everybody, Eric J here for Mythicos Studios. For those of you who know me, don't need to say much more. For those who don't, you'll usually find me in the Mawa store a couple times a week, and I'm also part of the creative team for Mythic Americans, a game that I am absolutely enamored and in love with. What we're going to be doing for Mythic Americas and some of what I'm working on with Nelson, Lord Mortis himself, is the first graphic novel, one of the first graphic novels, to kind of explain the universe, expand on the universe, and this wonderful playground we've been given that takes place in the Americas, all the Americas, based on the real native peoples, indigenous peoples of the Americas, and added in is the lore and the mystique and the magic and all that type of stuff to make this game what it is. So what we're going to be doing where the game itself is concerned, and why you see this in front of you, and of course the picture I posted up yesterday, is a project that I'm actually calling Journey Through the Americas. Myself, Nelson Martinez, Johnny Kleber, who's a Vanguard, and some others I would assume, are going to be talking to you about our armies, why we're choosing what we're choosing, what we love about it, showing you our progress, so you guys are actually going to be able to keep us culpable to get through these armies, and then we can start getting battle reports done. And what I'm going to help do, and I'm sure Nelson as well, because he's a lot like I am as far as loving to tell stories, is we're going to do narrative battle reports. And for my army, I will have a whole history. I've done that my entire career in the gaming world. Used to use props, everything. That's my favorite part of this hobby. The studio at Mawa is almost done, so we'll be able to do streaming bat reps there. We'll do narrative bat reps, we'll do pictorial bat reps, all kinds of stuff. But it was important to us to start those bat reps really once we were fully painted. So the onus is on us now. We really got to get this going, get this stuff painted. So we'll go into my force, my army, and why I am choosing to do it the way I'm doing it. So first of all, I have always and forever been a fan of the undead genre. This is long before Walking Dead and all of the shows that are around now, and it's great to see all that. But back in the day, I basically had Night of the Living Dead. In fact, an early date with my girlfriend, who I eventually married, was to take her to Dawn of the Dead. And she promptly dragged me out of the theater after about 10 minutes, which is pretty funny. And I didn't get a chance to see it again until sometime after. But so I've been into zombies and undead for a long time. So when I saw the Aztecs, I absolutely was completely enamored and went right for them. Quick side note, the undead in the Aztecs are actually not zombies, they're undead, which I guess is a little bit different, which means that we might also have zombies coming up. I'm talking to you, Nelson. So anyway, so I immediately gravitated to the Aztecs. So the basis of my army, and I think I have my list here, is going to be undead. So right now, and I'm looking at now basically a 1200 point, 1250 list roughly as we get there. That's it. You know, take a picture if you want. It's not a whole lot. We have other stuff coming out, so it'll improve then. But starting off with the undead, I have 30 undead warriors. You can see them in here. Some of them are painted. I can show you a little bit of that right there. And you know, I could today, but maybe in a later video we'll go into the colors that I'm using and why I'm using those colors. We'll talk a little bit about it. But so important for me is the basis of those troops. What's great about those troops is they're not great troops, but they're cheap. They're cheap and they can be buffed. So using magic, you can buff them and give them higher strength, or you can give them a higher resistance. So you want a real good sludge pit, slow something down, get a unit of 10 out there, pop them down, because they do not break. They can be destroyed through break tests, but they do not break. So they'll hang around a little longer, even if they're not hitting really hard, and be able to hang on to an objective or slow an enemy unit down that you don't want to get too close to wherever you want to be. And besides the fact they look friggin' cool. So, I mean, look at that champion. You know, they're just so cool looking. So, that became the basis for my army. My leader actually is named, and he's named for a reason, because again, everything I do is narrative. So this is my leader, and he is, of course, a shaman or a priest, and his name in Nahuatl, which is probably the most prevalent Mexicali language of that day, is Tepiscui Tecuani. Tecuani for short. In English, it basically means priest wild beast. And that was not always his name. He has a history behind him. But he was a warrior, became a priest, and clearly is, well versed in the arts of raising the dead. And through the narratives, we'll start to understand why he gained his name, what he's looking to do, how it might affect the balance, or how he thinks it might affect the balance, which of course is the way. So that's going to be a big part of my narrative. Following that, we also put in the Jaguar Warriors, and they're a new unit, came out very recently. And what's awesome about them, again, I want to make sure I got all my stats correct. So they have Savage, which is awesome because you can re-roll hits in your first combat of the game with the Jaguars. You can upgrade them to Maquahitos, which are amazing because it's +1 strength, and it's SV2. And SV basically the same thing as rending, so it takes away from your opponent's save or resistance, and they have SV2. So that's pretty amazing in this game. So the Jaguar Warriors, not yet started painting. I hope you can see that. The light source isn't great today. I'm sorry about that, but there you go. They're going to be fun. In the real history, Jaguar Warriors were elite warriors and known for getting captives that were used in a lot of ceremonies, including human sacrifice. So they're going to be on the table, and we're talking, like I said, about a 1,1250 point list. So they're out there, elite. They're not going to go rushing into something. They're going to kind of quietly go around the back. And then the other ones that I'm using, I am going to be proxying for now. There are pre-orders out for the Eagle Warriors, and I'm really excited for them because they're ranged. So I'm going to proxy for some of our test games that we're doing with Seneca Archer. The Eagle Warriors can actually carry bows or slings. I'm going to upgrade to the slings because the slings have some really cool rules also. Basically, their SV or Rend in other game systems is 2, so that's kind of nasty when they're ranging. They also have fast 6, so they're very fast on the ground. They can move faster. Plus, they have an easier time of hitting opponents that are running towards them, so it's very cool. And reaction plays a lot into this stuff. So if you put them into a down mode and another unit gets charged, they can interrupt and use their missile fire to throw slinged rocks at the opponent. And that's a great thing in this game because if you can get somebody with a pin on them before they even get into combat, they're already starting at a disadvantage. So that's a big reason for the range. I want the range in there, I want the fast in there, and there'll be a support crew also. Following up on that are the Bound Marauders. Now the Bound Marauders are awesome. Look at the size difference on these guys. Look at that. So big size difference, and the Bound Marauders are bound monsters. Basically, they have Maquahitos. They get 2 attacks. They're really savage on the attack. -1, they have dread, so it's -1 to enemy break tests, to enemy shooting, and to enemies attacks in close combat. The Maquahitos, again, +1 strength, -2 SV. So that's the Maquahitos are awesome. I would say that the Bound Marauders are somewhat of a glass tiger. They do not stand up to massed attack. They will go down, but 2 units, which is what I'm going to use, 2 units of 3, coming on flanking sides, going to make somebody worry because when they hit, they'll do some damage. And if I have them on both sides, you're going to have to worry about where it's coming from both sides. Maybe other games we're going to have them go straight up as a mass, and that's fine too. They're scary. Again, glass tigerish, but I love the models, and when they hit really hard. To round out is what I think is my absolute favorite unit right now, which is the IR. So you want artillery? I'm giving you artillery, but I'm giving you artillery that throws corpses. So this is the IR. I absolutely love this model. And if you look at some of the detail, there's a crackhead coming out the side. He's carrying a corpse, which is just absolutely fantastic. I just love this model. Can't wait to get to painting him. And the IR, basically, like I said, throws corpses like artillery. He's got a 20-inch range, I believe. D6 hits and SV1, so he's got rending on that also. But what really makes this guy cool is he has an aura, and the aura is called Stuck In. And basically, it's a 10-inch aura, and any enemy caught within 10 inches, not wholly, just within, so you catch that one guy, you've got the unit, they have to roll in their command at a -1. If they fail, they must charge the IR. So what's great about the IR is his combat attacks aren't amazing and stellar, but his resistance is insane. It's really hard to break him, really hard to take him down. So he can get any enemy unit that's near him stuck in combat. Now they have to deal with him before going out and doing whatever else they're doing. So he's great to even support your leader. Have him near your leader, so if anything else comes near, he can start throwing corpses at range, or get them stuck in combat so your leader, like my guy, Priest Wildbeast, doesn't have to worry about the attack. You only get one, so you want to keep him safe. So that's pretty much my army. The only other thing that I know I'm eventually going to add in is actually Lord Mortis himself. So this is the Lord Mortis model. First of all, it's an awesome model. If you get the collector's kit, you get this. It has a beautiful base. But what's great about Lord Mortis is that he has phenomenal buffs. So he will help any unit he's with be stronger on the attacks, be more savage on the attacks. And if that unit goes down, he's not attached to it. He can jump to another unit. So he can go running all over the battlefield. So he's something else that I would definitely want to put in my army. He's about 102 points. And for what you get, that's pretty good. So going back, running my Shaman leader, Priest Wildbeast, my base of undead, because I'm just an undead freak, I'm going to be running in 2 units of 10, 2 units of 5. The interesting thing is the units of 5 actually come out more expensive. So the 2 units of 5 are costing me about 10 points more, actually way more than that, I'm sorry, about 25 points more than a single unit of 10. With the 2 units, you are getting 2 champions, so you have 2 more guys that have tough, which is a good thing. It's like allowing to reroll saves, resistance, and then you also have the extra attacks from those guys. So the extra points are worth it, and those are going to be, your harassing units. 10 Jaguar warriors who are elite fighters. They really do damage in close combat, and also have fast. So a unit of 10. A unit of 10 Eagle warriors for the ranged support with reaction. So reaction is a great thing. Remember, you can interrupt somebody's action and fire off. 2 units of 3 Bound Marauders, which are gonna be great for flanks and just for great support and worrying the opponent. And of course, absolutely, the IR, which I'm so thrilled about. Seriously, it's corpse artillery. It's just awesome, and the model is absolutely gorgeous. So that's my list, and I'm gonna start or continue painting through this and give you progress on painting these guys. Some of the thoughts on my colors, which we'll get into more as I do some of the painting stuff or videos showing progress, is I went with somewhat bright colors because that was a part of what they wore, and dirtied it up a bit. I mean, you are getting up from the ground. What I'm trying to do is have the unit, if you see this unit has one particular set of colors, as does this, and then as do this unit of 10 to differentiate. So I'm trying to go in that mode. Jaguar warriors, I'm thinking I may do everything in like black and then maybe orange dots, kind of muted, just to show somewhat of a jaguar pattern. Eagle warriors, I'm not sure yet. They wear these eagle suits, feathered suits, so we'll see where I go with that. Maybe gray and white. And as for the rest, not really sure yet. Haven't gotten that far, so we'll see. The other thing I want to talk about that I'm really excited about is when you bring monstrous creatures like the IR into your army, you can bring them in several ways. So you can bring them in as wild, as bound, and as allies. So wild basically means that they're kind of subject to things you might not want them subject to. What's a really cool thing if you want to have fun with the game, so if they're wild, you end up using an extra die of a different color, an order die, and that's, I believe, if they break or lose command. I'd have to check more, but whoever picks that die out gets to control them. So if your opponent pulls that die out, you can use the IR even though it's originally in your list. So I think it's a fun component. Bound basically means he's bound to your army, and he's going to adhere to what his stats and instructions say in the rule book. The other is allied, and that's what I'm excited about. So there are so many really cool models coming out. There's a Quetzalcoatl coming out. Wendigo is already out. There's going to be a lot of other stuff coming out. And from what I can read in the book, and Nelson can pop in and tell me I'm wrong, is that you don't have a limit on how many monstrous creatures you can have, just on having one of each. So I want to do a list that will have my standard zombies out front, undead out front, and backed up by a whole bunch of the monsters from Mythic Americas, because that's going to be the most fun for me. I don't know how effective that list is going to be, but just imagine 4 or 5 monstrous creatures coming across the board with zombie undead walking in front of them. To me, that's just an awesome take on these armies. So that's where we have it. This is my army. With my leader, Priest Wild Beast. I have not named the entire army yet. I probably will soon. If you have suggestions, throw them up. So that's me, Eric J, Mythicos Studios, part of the creative team for a lot of the universe and background and lore that's going to be coming out for Mythic Americas. Hopefully you'll see you in the studios. If you want a game, post up on the Mythic Studios page on Facebook. And let's get a game in. We can always demo. I've got 2 forces you can use for that. Post up any thoughts, comments, questions, and we'll see you from across the table. Eric J, out.